Guten Tag. I'm back from Berlin. Not much footage because I was walking around Berlin, but I'll put some footage up on screen. It was wicked. Got to test out the new camera here. Started playing around with the microphone. I think this is about the right distance for it. I can plug it on as well, but it's all feeling very professional now. But yeah, no, honestly, Berlin was an amazing time. We got there early Friday morning, went and saw some of the sites, lots of Steins, lots of bratwurst, and a heck of a lot of war stuff as well, so a nice mix of stuff. And we got to see Biffy Clyro live. They were unbelievably amazing live, and I saw my partner's dad fully like letting his hair down and really going for it, which was sick. So yeah, it was really, really good. Although I don't want to see another bratwurst for about 10 years. I think I've had my fill, or at least until Christmas when the Pigs in Blankets come out, and then I can go back to it. What to kind of update you guys on then? So this week's been, I think I mentioned last week that we had a lot of pitches and stuff on, so I was kind of working on those pitches whilst being away. We had a big pitch for some place branding with a really good friend and sort of advisor I work with. And so we've just finished the pitch deck for that. That was like 90 pages. So that's been submitted. So we should hear back from that next week. We were supposed to have another pitch this week that I kind of pulled some late nights on to get ready for, and we've had to just postpone that until the following week just due to the client not being able to attend that, which is fine. Hopefully got this big pitch happening next week, and then yeah, other than that, just a few other pitches kind of knocking about really. Esme, our designer, was off from sort of middle last week to early this week, so we were a designer down, so I was very much back on the tools in between things on Berlin, so it's been a bit mental. I'm very glad that she's back. I'm a month into having a designer, and I'm actually so thankful to actually, I'm not used to, I've already gotten used to having a designer back, I suppose, which is kind of mad. Yeah, it's really good. So yeah, so other things that I guess then from this week, apart from the pictures and things like that, we've actually seen a real surge in animation work coming through, which is kind of a bit wild, but it is weirdly what I was predicting as well. So I've mentioned this on a few posts and when I've spoken to people, but essentially at the start of 2025, illustration work was really down. When I was doing illustration events with illustrators, they were saying they were really struggling, and then by summer they'd seen like a surge of illustration work come through and everyone was really busy again. And I think the main cause of that was obviously people trying out AI, trying to get a feel for it, thinking it could replace illustrators fully, and in turn it really can't. I've talked a lot about AI on here and how if it's used incorrectly, it can be seen as slop and can be negative for your brand, and I think that's kind of what happened there. And then really interestingly, around the same time that illustration was making a bit of a comeback, animation was really down last summer, and I predicted that animation would then have the similar effect with illustration, because illustration just feeds into animation after all. And we're now seeing a big surge back in animation because in particular a lot of like high data and medical animation has kind of been pushed into our studio, which is really good. But I think again the reason is because you can't really replicate that effectively in your brand with AI, so that's seen a surge as well, which has been great. Brand work and website work has stayed pretty consistent. I know there's quite a few competitors in the web space for sort of creating quick websites through AI, and some of them are pretty damn good. I was looking, I've done a lot of research last year, and I've mastered sort of Replit and Lovable, and they're good. They are good, but they're very hard to edit after. That's the thing we've noticed. We put them up and you can't really do much with them after without prompting the hell out of them. So I think, like most things, you'll be able to get some generic AI versions of websites that you can, click on, and you've probably seen them now. You click on the website and you're like, this looks and feels like AI. And the more bespoke experiences and web experiences are going to just absolutely dominate. So across the board, really, I think if you want that kind of cheaper, quick solution, you can go for AI. But if you want the premium approach, having a proper brand studio is going to kind of be the way forward, really. So yeah, and then just in terms of like the YouTube side of things, so since starting this channel and posting a bit of a vlog of my week, we've gained a whole total of 15 followers, 15 subscribers. So not much, but do you know what? It's a start. And I think, one thing I'm going to talk about very shortly is kind of how I mentioned this in last week's video, how I wanted to create something here that even if 2 people see this and just get some value from it, of just running a studio and how's best to do that, or even if you're sort of like client side and you see this and you're like you're getting some really valuable insights on how to market and run your brand, then that's a win for me. So I guess what I thought I'd sort of talk about today is I thought I'd show you guys a little bit of a tour of my studio upstairs that I work from most days, when I'm not in Colony, that is. And then I thought I'd talk a little bit about the how to become a really good freelancer. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I've had a couple of people on Instagram and LinkedIn just reach out asking that question, really. And I guess having gone from freelancer to studio owner and being a very successful freelancer for about 6 years beforehand, working with massive agencies and brands kind of all across the world, I thought I'd give some tidbits and 5 kind of key tips on, if you're a freelancer listening, how you can kind of absolutely smash it as a freelancer, and what I've kind of learned over the past 6 years, really. So I'll take you upstairs and we'll do a little tour of the studio and then dive in. So this is the studio. So yeah, we put this kind of paneling in when we first moved in here, this green paneling. I kind of take no credit for this, by the way. This is all my wife's work. She came up with this whole idea and we custom fitted it, and yeah, she's the creative genius behind this, really. So this is where I sit, and I've got like a few books. I've got my tablet there as well. You can see I've got the microphone stuff over there as well, and a mug that says 30 on it because I'm desperately holding on to being 30. And then my main sort of iMac there, hard drive, and a few random bits with my brother and sister, and a few books and stuff. And yeah, then up here we've got like a few prints that we found. GF Smith paper, which is just incredible paper. I use that all the time when I'm looking at print stuff. I'll kind of bring that down and have a little look through. I picked this up, weirdly, this little like inflatable dog, because for some reason I kind of had a reason. Originally, when I was thinking of the anti-gravity logo, I kind of liked the idea of an inflatable dog because I guess it felt like energy and inflated, and it kind of had our colour tones as well. So, so yeah. But yeah, this is very obviously my wife Rachel's side. I don't know what gives that away. Maybe it's the pastel pink, just maybe. This is the plant pot as well. The reason I've got this is because one of my good mates bought me this, and my wife actually hates this plant pot with a burning passion, but she said I can keep it if I keep a plant alive. And this plant has been living here for 2 years. I water it all the time. It's the only plants I look after in the house, but yeah, it survives. And then over here, I've got some books. So this is a book I got recently from Timothy Armu. I'm reading a crazy amount of business books that I've kind of bought that I'm intending to read through, but I don't know if it's the dyslexia in me. I find it really, really hard to read, so I'm actually just listening to loads of YouTube videos and audiobooks all the time, really. This is a print that we got from Creative Spark's print shop of horror a couple of years ago. I just love this print. We love Handmaid's Tale, and I think it was Neil, the creative director's dad, that actually painted this. And yeah, the guy's got mad talent. It's a beautiful print. And then my partner, Rachel, actually does a lot of paint by numbers. It's kind of her thing to chill out when I'm on the PlayStation downstairs. So she's got one of those there. She actually did this other one over here, which was pretty sick. So yeah. So I'll start off with top tip number 1. Jack of all trades. Now, this is a very contentious saying, and I don't think people know the full saying, right? So the full saying is, well, the saying that everyone knows anyway is Jack of all trades, master of none. But the full saying is actually Jack of all trades, master of none is still better than a master of one. The reason I bring this up is because there's a lot of things I see out there that sort of say, oh, as a freelancer, it's really good to be niche, like focus on a sector or focus on a individual skill. But if I'm honest, the reality of what's kept me afloat as a freelancer is being multi-skilled. And I see posts on LinkedIn where people are like, oh, so many jobs now expect you to be able to do illustration and graphic design and animating a video. But the truth is, like, I know there's maybe an element of you not wanting to learn those skills, and I totally get that. Don't learn what you don't want to learn. Like for me, for example, I was an illustrator. I love it, and then I just wanted to bring my animations to life, right? So I went away and learned animation. Also, the fact that I actually kind of got made redundant in my first job because I couldn't animate. And looking back now, that was actually a really good learning that, oh, I lost this job because I couldn't animate compared to the other person who could animate in the team. So I wanted to never have that kind of loss again, I suppose. So I went away, learned animation. But I think the big thing about it all, and the reason it can keep you afloat, is that it means that, rather than just looking for like video work or illustration work, you're expanding your reach of what you can do. Don't get me wrong, like if you're an illustrator and you love illustrating, it doesn't mean you have to give up illustration to do something totally different. I just love learning loads of different things. Like I learned 3D, so I can work in 3D. I just loved learning new creative skills. But if your sole focus is being an illustrator and absolutely smashing it as an illustrator, then look at ways you can apply your illustration to different things than just being an illustrator. Can you be a mural artist? Can you be an animator? Because you're adding so many more strings to your bow there, and it compounds. Like when there's been times where things, I've been very lucky, touch wood, never have any sort of really real dark moments, but I think part of that is because I've had so many skills that I could pull on to help kind of keep things moving forward. Top tip number 2. This is one that I still use today. Like it's still so crucial today. It's what I live by. It's stay in front of mind. It sounds simple, but it's really difficult. Now, staying in front of mind with your clients and with your network doesn't necessarily mean like posting a LinkedIn every day. It just means like doing these little things to connect with people where you can. So going for coffees with people, chatting to them, building a relationship with these, with your clients and things. That's so vital, and it's the lifeblood of what keeps things going. And I'm very fortunate now that genuinely a lot of my clients that I work with are just really good friends. Like I'd go for a beer with them. I enjoy working with them. It makes the whole process so much easier and more enjoyable because I don't see them as clients anymore. They're kind of just the mates. I think it's so valuable that as well because also you build that level of trust. And when you've got trust, it means that, like even when I hire freelancers now, I think 50% of the reason that I'll hire a freelancer is because I just know I know there's trusted hands there. I know they're a good person that I can have a chat to. I could go for a beer with them. I could be friends with them. And I think when you have that kind of ingrained there, with your clients, it's so valuable because they trust you. They know that if they go to you, you've got the skills to smash out any project that's put before you, of course. But it's the ease of hands as well, like ease of hands. What I guess I mean by that is just the fact that you can trust the deliverables and not have any worries, and that's just so valuable. And I guess that leads quite nicely into point number 3. It's about networking, building a community. So before going freelance, I spent a lot of time at the creative networking events across Manchester. Again, made loads of friends through that. Inadvertently met my wife through that. And the kind of idea and reasoning behind doing this is, yes, to connect with like-minded people in your field, but also you'll find that sometimes you fill a gap that they can't fill. A lot of designers that I went and worked with, that I went and met at these networking events, were some of my first clients when I went into freelancing because they needed an animator or they needed an illustrator or they needed someone with branding. Like the skills that I had that maybe they didn't have, for example. In particular, at the time, it was animation, as that was the real thing that got me started with being freelance. I was, fortunately, COVID was there, and when COVID was there, it meant that no one could go and film anything, so animation just skyrocketed. So that was a real jumping off point for me. The next thing I'll say for point 4 is referrals. Referrals, they're the lifeblood. They're so the lifeblood. This builds into the fact that you've built a really good connection with someone, right? But also builds into the fact that, is there anything you can do so that someone refers you, they get some sort of kickback, or there's just some benefit to them doing that. And if you do that, your name's getting passed on and word of mouth becomes a thing, and that's what you want. Word of mouth is still the ultimate sort of sales tactic. Whether you're a freelancer or an agency, like it's the ultimate kind of seal of approval, really. And the final thing I'd say is, and it's interesting because I was reviewing some illustrators' portfolios recently, and one thing I noticed with personal work. Now, personal work is amazing. Like, do it for the joy of it, 100%. I guess what I'd say when it comes to doing personal work as a designer or illustrator is to just think of the commercial side of it as well. I saw a great project recently. Forgive me, I can't think of the name of the designer who did some beautiful packaging for Space Invaders. He did like a total reinvention, and it's been shared everywhere, and it's it's kind of skyrocketed for him. But I guess the reason I'm mentioning this is because I think when you're doing personal work, can you think of commercial edge to it that means that if people see it, they can go, oh, I can apply that to what I'm doing. And then they might reach out to you for it. So even though you're doing it for yourself and for your own fulfillment, is there something more you can do out of it? It's like I say, I had a portfolio come in recently. We get like a few portfolios coming through now. And I was looking at it and I was like, oh, there's a lot of personal work that I saw. And I just thought, like, some of the personal work, some of it was beautiful, like, really, really good illustration. But I kind of fed back and said, I think there needs to be a commercial edge here. Like, can you take these illustrations and put them on a wall mural, or can they live inside a comic book or something like that? Is there more to it that people can then look at your personal work and go, I'd love you to do that kind of work for me and pay you for it? And I think there's some huge value there if you can do that. So those are kind of my 5 top tips for everyone who's been asking me about top tips as a freelancer. I'll probably return more to a bit of the agency side of the world after this. And I thought this week, next week even, I'm going to take you guys for a day. Now I've got a good phone and a microphone. I'm going to take you guys through a day anti-gravity on a Wednesday where we're in Colony from start to finish, the full day until I go to bed, from what time I get up, what time I go to bed. Just the reality of my week, really. A day in my week at the moment. And so I'll catch you guys then. Cheers.